How it's going today is Sunday, or 3rd of November, and we're gonna be taking a look at finances. It's something that we should be doing every Sunday or so. While taking a look at finances, I thought I'll take a look at three different governments when it comes to taxes and taxes for extraction or resources and where those taxes are. So I thought I'll do that in today's video, but most likely won't gonna do it this particular way. We're gonna start by taking a look at what's happening in UK when it comes to extraction tax. After the UK increases windfall tax on North Sea oil and gas production. So something that UK is doing, something that was published recently, roughly about 3 days ago. So, as well as most likely Russia is considering to doing the same when it comes to extraction taxes for resources. How much of those taxes? There's a lot of things that is being proposed and most likely put into motion within Russia as well. And for last government, third government, I thought we can take a look at Australia and what's happening there. But I think Australia has been having different approach, right? Broken system, that's big business off the hook. Something that's happening in Australia. It's a very interesting way how Australia is doing it. That's just a number of problems within Australia when it comes to Freedom of Information Act, where you can submit requests to government for different kind of information, and there's a lot of issues there to begin with when it comes to information and what kind of information would be available for public in Australia, right? But all system is a mess as of now. So I thought let's skip that. So that will be important, but let's skip that and let's take a look at different prospect and what's gonna perhaps not right now, what will be happening in the future and how UK is looking to lay down a very strong foundation when it comes to extraction of resources, and we're gonna be taking a look at most likely Africa, right? Then it comes to extraction of resources, most likely previously, UK was sharing a lot of control over a lot of resources together with France. But now UK might be looking at how to control more of the markets themselves, where previously it was working together with France and EU. Now, most likely, UK is looking how to do it themselves. Where everything has started, it started with Brexit and UK leaving EU, right? And from there, I thought I'll touch on the way how this entire articles will be presented. It will be completely different, so we won't be reading it. We're gonna be taking a look at some of the statistics of ups and downs only. We won't be taking a look and no reading. It would get it. My head would start to hurt by reading the entire information, since entire information would be packaged in such a shiny paper as if everything's great, or most likely reality it's completely different. But anyway, and that will be just a couple of graphs that we're going to be taking a look at 2021, I believe. That's when the Brexit happened. And then many people can see a drop as of now. And from there, we can take a look at another graph that would be when it comes to a lot of economies and those economies' performance. If UK would be looking to develop its own supply chains, perhaps having more control compared to previously, where most likely France and all European governments would have a lot of control. The UK might be interested in establishing those controls themselves. Even recently, one of the politicians have expanded on what kind of work he's currently doing when it comes to natural resources and extraction. Those extractions could happen in a number of different ways. It could be from other governments, but it's not necessarily limited to that, because it could be extraction from underwater, international waters, quote unquote. So there might be a lot of things, right? As well as we can touch on, since we were taking a look at graphs, it's something that will be published by BBC. Most likely, when it comes to credibility, BBC is currently A lot of articles, different articles, would say that BBC is lacking credibility when it comes to publishing information. Just to keep that in mind, right? We can begin by taking a look at something that happened yesterday. That would be UK Tories elect first black female leader. Okay, I guess if would like to focus on this kind of points, while extraction of natural resources and establishing for UK establish its own supply chains. That's what's important right now. But instead of focusing on that, and the most likely what UK is very interested in doing, we would focus on Taurus, elect first black female leader. I guess that's important as well. Anyway, there's a lot of I haven't read this article, right? So that will be a lot of things happening. But anyway, we'll like to skip some information. There might be something about age, all this kind of things. So if we can, we're gonna skip all this information as well as names. And I don't think that's that important. But other than that, born in UK and raised in Nigeria and the UK. Okay, there's how old this female leader is, I guess. Leaders Travel MP. Okay, let's keep that vote according to the state broadcaster or BBC, right? Of course. So there's a lot of things happening. So I would like to take a look at the bigger picture and what the most likely a lot of leadership actually are doing, right? Even if we were to read this article, some of these articles will be published by Russian states media, so Russian articles published in English, and the wording and or structure wetted with France. So three governments right there, right? Anyway, when it comes to supply chains and where everything has started with France, so while we're reading everything in English, it's actually France who have started. But anyway, so that's a little bit of the background information. When it comes to pointing fingers, no one's pointing finger at anyone, right? Just to close this video with, we're gonna be taking a look at three different areas, right? We're gonna be taking a look at newest developments. We won't gonna delve too deep, other than the Africa is state by Russian satellites. Most likely there would be two different type of satellites. One of them would be, and perhaps based on what kind of issues the satellites would be able to solve. Some of those would be for reconnaissance, and some of the satellites most likely gonna be for connectivity, right, and communications. Most likely the two different types of satellites, and it's great that there's a support up there who would like to bring all the people up to speed of where things would need to be, right? So that would be a first article. I haven't read it, but most likely that's where things are. We won't gonna go down since there might be a lot of name calling, all those kind of things. We won't gonna delve too deep into that, and we're gonna progress, right? We can take a look at the next article. That would be Africa has something that most likely some of those governments taking a look at. When it comes to the description, we're gonna be taking a look at UN Security Council, and we're gonna be taking a look at five governments that would be US, UK, France, Russia, and China. So most likely those five governments is something that those five governments are interested in, and those five governments are interested in cheap, if possible, commodities, and some of those governments are looking to have let's take a look at the market where are those commodities, right? This particular article has been published by one of those governments that I have just mentioned, so we won't gonna delve deeper into the way how information has been presented. But all those five different governments are considering how to get cheapest commodities possible, including copper, cobalt, nickel, platinum, uranium, graphite, and several other minerals, right? And including perhaps something that UK themselves are interested, right? Including different minerals, all this kind of information, right? But we won't gonna delve deeper into this article as well. If anything, we can encourage more governments in Africa to go on, perhaps, if possible, consider what kind of contracts they have, if possible, if they can ask for better rates since it's businesses, right? And those businesses need to be profitable. So it's very difficult as well as if those businesses coming in and offering a lot of job opportunities, sometimes can offer 40,000 job opportunities for some of those governments. If anything, if possible, they can negotiate the contracts and receive better terms if possible, right? But again, it's the entire sector can be more difficult than it's been presented in this article. I haven't read it, but most likely I can pick up on the vibe, right? Let's progress. Let's take a look at the next article, right? The next article and the last article we're going to be taking a look at, again, I haven't read this article, but most likely we're going to be taking a look at the history of the developments that we're still in the continent, how the plunder of Africa kind of has evolved, right? We can take a look at briefly, right? And something that we were taking a look at previously that the latest August revolution government of Burkina Faso nationalized 2 gold mines, reclaiming them from London-based multinational Endeavour Mining. Burkina Faso, Endeavour Mining, it could be London based, but it could have many shareholders, so it's kind of things, right? I don't know that much about the information, right? Burkina Faso is the 4th largest gold producer in Africa. Meanwhile, according to Switzerland based aid and advocacy organization Swiss Aid, a total of 435 tons of gold worth around 35 billion was illegally smuggled out of Africa. Right, I don't know, I can't confirm any of this information, right? As well as organized criminal network with the majority of it ending up in European banks, right? Since we previously were taking a look at where UK would send a lot of gold, right? We were taking a look at about 6 months ago, UK has sent 100 tons, and about 5 days ago, UK have sent 102 tons of gold to India. So perhaps just if total is 435 tons. So that's half. That's not even a half, right? But how much of that will be held within UK? Who knows, right? But anyway, so I thought it was kind of interesting in taking a look at history and the way how things have progressed, as well as history. The story of extraction from gold to black gold, right? And let's start with the number of African rich astronomically rich is natural resources. It holds approximately 30% of world's mineral reserves, 8% of world's natural gases, and 12% of world's oil reserves. It's home to 40% of world's gold and up to 90% of chromium and platinum. The Democratic Republic of Congo alone accounts for more than half of world's cobalt supply, critical elements, and all batteries that power electric vehicles and all smartphones, right? So most likely, then we're taking a look at some of these progressions, as well as we're taking a look at how some of those governments looking to raise taxes. So that's how we started today's video, how some of those governments looking to raise taxes from a number of businesses, as well as I thought what really is happening. We're going to be taking a look at Africa, and if anything, call for action, quote unquote, right, would be, if possible, renegotiating some of those contracts, or how percentage-wise. So it's 20%. If that's how much businesses are paying, perhaps they're creating a lot of jobs, a lot of opportunities in those governments. If possible, they might consider revisiting some of this contract, right? Let's close on that. Thanks for watching. See you next one.